How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about CEI Camber Energy. It had quite the pullback on the Friday, being down almost 9% on the day. So many people are sending me those messages. What are your thoughts? How do you feel about this stock? So we'll talk about it further in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we're going to be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for CEI Camber Energy. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at 82 cents, being down 8.94%. On the low, it tested 81 cents, and then on the high, testing 89 cents. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 36.8 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 54.562 million shares. So you can see right away we had below average volume, and it's part of the reasons why we've seen a strong pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it's at 48.24. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day. We're also below the 21-day EMA, but we are above the 50-day and as well as the 100-day. So what am I seeing from CEI? It looks like we're just going to continue to stay within a tight range and have some consolidation. But one thing we can't forget, it is still in an uptrend. And what does that look like? So back here, if we take a look at February, we were testing support levels right here around 46 cents. And then if we go back further now, we can see at the beginning of March, testing support levels right here at 58 cents. And then when we move on to April the 13th, having a support base right here at around 68 cents. So this is why I would say us being at around 80 cents, this is not too bad whatsoever. Long term, we're still in an uptrend. I'd only be concerned if we ended up breaking through this level here right at 70 cents. So that's why I would say as long as Camber is staying above 80 cents, that is great for the short term. But if it breaks down to the mid 70s, it doesn't mean that it's in bad shape and it's going to go down. I want to make sure I clarify that. And for the upside, you guys have a clear idea of how this stock actually pops by now. So we usually tend to get some strong pops going to 90 cents and of course making that move to $1. We know that $1 is a psychological area for Camber. Many like to take profits around here, a lot of selling pressure. So if you are holding the play and you bought in at a lower price, this is where you want to start thinking about taking some profits. But one thing that we want to see from Camber, which still could happen, if it ends up using $1 as a support level and it has strength at this level, man, we could start getting to around $1.10. That would be the next area of resistance and breaking through 110. That's where I want to see us making that move going to 125 and up. So again, keep a very close eye on this play. This is not an investment strategy. This is for swing traders. I want to make sure I'm being very clear. So now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for CEI. So the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 46.45%. And then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 11.50 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 750,000, updated 3 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 30.17%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 21st, it is at 49.78. And then for the close of the 22nd, being at 46.45. So there is a good amount of short interest in this play, but taking a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 9.85%, I wouldn't say that CEI has short squeeze potential. But if we end up having a catalyst like we see rises in oil prices and so forth, we could look forward to moves to the upside. side. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for CEI. So we see on the inflow, it's at 6.44 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 8.74 million. So we ended up having an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 0.80 million. On the medium, it was 4.19 million. And then on the small, it was 1.45 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 1.25 million. On the medium, it was 5.87 million. And then on the small, it was 1.62 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for April the 22nd, it was an outflow of negative 0.45 million. And also for the 21st being negative at 0.58 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 10.22%. So you know what? This is actually not too bad for a volatile stock like CEI. But one thing that is clear, there's a good amount of selling pressure that's inside of this play. And we're not surprised about that. We know when it makes those pops, especially getting above $1, there's going to be some selling. So we can see there's profit taking. Also, we have to take into consideration the weakness we have inside of the markets. It's affecting everything as a whole. So for this coming week, it still makes up as an interesting play, and I'll talk about it further in the final thoughts, so let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for CEI Camber Energy, when it comes to the price action, I would not be bearish on the stock unless it falls below 68 cents. So if it decides to hold support at 80 cents or even at 75 cents, in the short term, it is still maintaining its uptrend. So I want to make sure that you're taking a look at the charts and you're being aware of that. So let's say, for example, if we have a strong pop in oil prices and CEI is trading in the mid 70s or even trading at 80 cents, I'm going to be looking for a potential pop. Even if it doesn't happen the day of, I'm going to be looking for it for the following day. And if it decides to make that pop and it goes to 90 cents, I am not going to be taking a position whatsoever. That is FOMO right there. Because I look at it like this. If you're not going to be buying the stock on the red days when it pulls back to key levels, then what's the point of buying it on a green day when we know as far as for the upside is concerned, there is a lot of selling pressure at $1. So knowing that there's selling pressure there, you want to make sure that you have a good idea of what your exit is going to be and not just watch the stock. We also do know there's another resistance level right at $1.10 as well. So if we break through this level, then CEI could potentially get to $1.25. I am not saying that this is going to be happening in the near term. I want to make sure I'm being very clear about that. But you need to do your homework, do your due diligence, and come up with a trading strategy that is right for you. And if it doesn't have the right setup that meets your criteria, then move on to the next play. I want to really emphasize this because I'm seeing there's a lot of investors coming to the channel and saying, well, you know what? I'm going to buy this stock at whatever price because I'm down to hold it for the long term. But guess what? As soon as when that stock pulls back, they start complaining and say, what's happening? Oh my gosh, I bought into this stock. I'm losing so much money. Again, you should not have bought in it in the first place. If you have an investor mindset, when the stock pulls back in the price, that's where you add more to your position since you have high conviction. I know I've been saying this a lot in a lot of my videos, but there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of uncertainty inside of the markets. And many people are selling out of their positions, out of their emotions. They don't like seeing their stocks going down. I completely understand that, but that is a part of the game. But that also makes me want to bring up the next point. This is a speculative play. We are looking at it to move alongside with oil prices when those spikes happen. If you want to go in further in regards as an investment play, that's where you really need to build up and doing your homework. In my personal opinion, I would not choose that option whatsoever. I feel there's better opportunities out there inside of the market. But from a trading aspect, this play is interesting and it does give you the opportunity to make some quick profits when it pops. Like I said, get in, get out. Or maybe if you are a boxing fan, it's all about stick and move, stick and move. Again, you just don't buy into these plays and hold and hope for the best. It doesn't work that way. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I can't wait to see how the stock performs for the coming week. We'll talk soon.